Estamos en la destilería de Jack Daniels en Tennessee. Hola Chris, ¿cómo estás? Say hello to Colombia and talk about your distillery.
Okay, yeah. Hello, Colombia. Welcome to Lynchburg, Tennessee. We're glad to be here to have an opportunity to talk to you all today. We've been making whiskey here since 1866, when Jack Daniel himself was just a young man and he learned how to make whiskey. He moved right here to the Cave Spring Hollow in Lynchburg, Tennessee to establish his distillery, and we're still making it the same way today.
Okay, yo creo que nos gustaría mucho que nos cuente una corta historia de cómo nació Jack Daniels. We want to know how the short history about the Jack Daniels.
Okay, yeah. Well, Jack, he was born here in Lynchburg, and he was the youngest of 13 children. His mother actually passed away shortly after he was born, and growing up the youngest of 13, he got picked on quite a bit. So he actually ran away from home when he was a young boy. Now, when he ran away, he ended up not far down the road, and he lived with a man named Dan Call. And Mr. Call actually had a still and made whiskey. Mr. Call also was a minister. He was the minister at our local Lutheran church here, and so Jack actually learned how to make whiskey while he was living with Mr. Dan Call, the Lutheran minister. Now, eventually, Mr. Call's congregation, his church, decided that he should not be making whiskey and preaching in the church. So they told him he had to decide between the two, and when he did, he actually ended up giving that still to Jack. So Jack, as a young man, started out on his own in the mid-1800s. He started here in 1866 at about the age of 16, making his own whiskey here in Lynchburg.
Okay, otra pregunta que creo que nos gustaría conocer es saber los diferentes tipos de whisky que preparan acá en Jack Daniels. Could you talk about the different kind of whiskey that you have here?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what you see here, this is kind of our original family of brands of Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskeys. Now, Tennessee whiskeys are made very much like bourbon whiskeys. In fact, the first part of our process is identical to making bourbon whiskey. But one of the things that we do in addition to the requirements of bourbon is charcoal mellowing. Charcoal mellowing is very important for us. This is the way that Jack actually learned how to make whiskey. What this entails is when the whiskey comes off of our still, it's clear as water at that point and 70% alcohol by volume. We will take that clear whiskey and filter it through a bed of maple charcoal. We actually make our own charcoal here at the distillery. So what the whiskey is coming in on top of that charcoal would be considered an American bourbon whiskey. That charcoal, by filtering and removing some of the grainy flavors that are naturally in the whiskey from the raw materials, that changes the whiskey. So when it comes out the bottom, it still clear as water, it's still 70% alcohol, but the flavor and the aroma of the whiskey changes due to the charcoal mellowing. It strips out a lot of that grainy character. It allows the nice sweet fruitiness of Jack Daniels to start to come through. That makes us a Tennessee whiskey and not a bourbon whiskey. What you see here with our three family of brands is all Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey, so made mostly from corn, also some rye, and some malted barley.
Chris, para terminar, queremos que nos digas en Colombia por qué debemos tomar un whisky como Jack Daniels. I want that you say the people in Colombia why they need to drink a Jack Daniels whiskey.
Well, we hope that people, that if they're looking for a quality, authentic, crafted product, a classic American whiskey, the #1 whiskey in the world, that we've been making the same way since Jack Daniel himself started making in 1866. We've been making friends around the world ever since then. And I think we'll continue to make friends around the world for many years to come. So I hope that the people from Colombia will enjoy our products like so many of our friends do around the world.
Bueno, esa fue nuestra visita a Jack Daniels en Tennessee, Estados Unidos. Chris, Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Por tus palabras y welcome to Colombia when you want.